Something strange is going on in oil country ahead of the game against the Dallas Stars tonight, which is game two of the Western Conference final. Lots of question marks regarding the Oilers lineup tonight, in one player in particular, and why he's still in the lineup. Who knows? But all that more today on Oilers Digest. But we are very close to 3,200 subscribers, on the way to 4,000. So help us get one step closer and hit that button down below. Now, folks, big game tonight. The Oilers could have a chance to split the series, going back to Edmonton or going back to Edmonton, down 2 games to nothing there. I got the jersey on, the lucky jersey for these videos. The Oilers are 2-0 when I wear a jersey, so I had to throw on the Andy Moe today for old time's sake. Now the Oilers, of course, are looking for the split. Now the Oilers, going down 1 game to nothing in a series, we're very used to this since the 2017, that playoff series, since the San Jose Sharks. The Oilers 4-12 in their last 16 game ones there. But the Oilers in Stars, 7 o'clock Central tonight, 6 o'clock Mountain there in Dallas. And Connor McDavid is ready for the task tonight. Says this group's always responded well to these types of situations, and I'd expect the same tomorrow night. The press conference, his presser from yesterday, we've had disappointment through various times in these playoffs, and we've responded really well. I expect us to do that again tomorrow. We've been really good in high pressure situations, high pressure games. Game two would be one of those where we got to find a way to get a win here. A lot of positives came out of game one. We didn't find a way to get a win. We don't need to change a whole lot. We get a kill or two, and that game is maybe different. It's a great opportunity for our group. And now these Oilers going down 1 game to nothing. You can see here the chart here from The Athletic. Every single series since 2017 where they lost after game one there. They've won 6 times against the Sharks, the Kings, the Kings 3 times there, the Flames, and the Canucks. And then meanwhile, they've lost 5 times. I mean, 4 if you don't count the 2020 bubble there where they got swept against the Jets, the Avalanche, and they lost to the Golden Knights in 6 games, and then lost, unfortunately, to the Panthers in 7. But these Oilers are battle tested whenever they go down 1-0 in a playoff series. So these Oilers know their back is almost up against the wall. I don't want to say it's fully against the wall. If they go back to Edmonton down 2 games to nothing, it will be, but they are ready for the task tonight. And from Daniel Nugent-Bowman from the Oilers morning skate this morning, says it appears the Oilers are going with the same lineup as game one, and there's a bit of a question mark here. Jeff Skinner was on the third line with Evander Kane and Adam Henrique, but Connor Brown isn't on the ice. Brown said yesterday he skipped a couple skates for maintenance reasons, so it's pretty obvious that he's nursing some sort of injury here, and it depends, how bad it is, but it's still apparently good enough to play, just not good enough to be on the ice during the morning there. As Kris Knoblauch confirmed, Connor Brown will play game two despite not taking part in the morning skate. You can see there the exact same lineup as game one. It was very interesting to see that Kris Knoblauch did not make any substantial changes here after every single one of the losses in the first 2 rounds. Kris Knoblauch has made some sort of change here, but doesn't look like he will have anything that's different tonight against the Dallas Stars there, with the exact same lineup, with Stuart Skinner getting his second straight start in this series against the Dallas Stars tonight. Now, for Connor Brown, to take a little bit of a deep dive, very strange the situation going on when the Oilers have multiple forwards waiting in the wings just in case, someone is not ready to go, with Victor Arvidsson in Jeff Skinner. From Bruce Kurlock here of Oiler Nation, says, I've seen the Connor Brown news, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point he misses a game. It's pretty clear he took a shot in game 5 of the Vegas series off the foot and maybe even the toe. And he said, that said, Skinner on that line with Adam Henrique and Evander Kane would scare me immensely. Now, of course, Jeff Skinner is more of a top 6 guy, not so much a bottom 6 guy. As you can see here, the chart off natural stat trick here, comparing his stats with Adam Henrique, comparing to his numbers without Adam Henrique, and it is far and away so much different there. You can see the duo with Henrique and Skinner leaking chances. Meanwhile, Skinner without Adam Henrique, pretty much every other Oiler on the team, he has much better results there. So Bruce Kurlock is absolutely right there with him on that third line, even with Evander Kane, who's been running through a brick wall all playoffs long there. he did look like he, was behind the play a lot against the Dallas Stars, and then adding, Jeff Skinner to that line with Henrique, again, could be a line that leaks chances there. Even though Connor Brown is the sixth leading scorer on this Oiler playoff team, if he's obviously not at 100%, you got to slide someone else in there, whether it be Victor Arvidsson or Jeff Skinner. I mean, you could make the argument that Connor Brown is one of the most important Oiler penalty killers, but with the way that PK has been looking, it doesn't look like anyone has been important on that penalty kill so far for the Oilers. So a change could be needed. I mean, they have several other forwards that could slot in on Connor Brown's spot on the PK. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, Kasperi Kapanen, Adam Henrique. The list goes on and on there. So I don't want to say you could easily replace him, but you do have options. And again, game one against the Dallas Stars, just taking a look at the analytics wise, just was not his strongest game. Not just 5-on-5, but also at all situations, whether it be on the penalty kill in 5-on-5 there, being on the ice for 2 goals against there and just being heavily outshot. 12 shots against when Connor Brown was on the ice. I love him. He's a warrior. He's a playmaker, especially in the playoffs there. But again, if he's obviously not at 100%, you got to put someone else in there. But you know what? With the PK, Connor Brown, he's just got his mindset on tonight's game. Whatever gets the job done. Says it needs to get figured out. Anytime you have a hole in your game, you're looking at it. We're not shying away from it. We're not just pretending it's going to get fixed without attention to detail and accountability. We need to make changes early here and make sure we're on our toes a little bit. It's wild how it can change. That can be such a strength and then go into these lulls. And I keep comparing, last year's playoff penalty kill to this year's, and I mean, it's just a night and day difference. The Oilers have already given up 3 power play goals to the Dallas Stars. Meanwhile, last year the Oilers won a perfect 14 for 14 on the PK. Now the Oilers, you know what? There's a positive. They did score their first power play goal of the playoffs away from Rogers Place. I only took them 3 rounds. They went 1 for 15 on the road power play, but their penalty kill has now been beaten 14 times on 37 tries, which is good enough for 62.2%, which is more than double that of each of the other 3 remaining teams in Dallas, Carolina, and Florida, who also own the top 3 penalty kill percentages in the playoffs. And of course, they've surrendered 14 power play goals, whereas those other 3 remaining teams have given up a combined total of 16. Now the Oilers, the game plan is short, sweet, and simple. Just stay out of the box. Their 5-on-5 play was phenomenal. Just stay out of the box there. And the Oilers, again, 5-on-5 were drastically sharper all over the ice for 2 periods and throughout the entirety of the game. They did generate far more chances at even strength than the Stars. The Oilers held a 63.74% expected goal share in even strength play in game 1 and generated almost 4 goals for expected goals for per 60 there. Half the battle, when the Oilers did not have the puck, the Stars were attacking them there, and that's what led to these penalties, with Kris Knoblauch saying the more you defend, the more time you're in a position to take a penalty. The Dallas Stars, a very, very quick team, and they made the Edmonton Oilers pay in game 1 when they push. You're in a position to defend, and you're getting vulnerable to having to take a stick infraction or any infraction. The more we can possess the puck, the more we can spend in the offensive zone, and we'll be less likely to spend time where we will take penalties. I hope we're not taking penalties in the offensive zone. They're a good 5-on-5 team and do exceptionally well on the power play. We'll have to adjust to get better and give them fewer opportunities. Now, heading into this series, the big storyline was, Edmonton's depth performing versus Dallas's depth not performing, but we saw multiple beasts awoken in game 1 there. But the Oilers still, 5-on-5 is their big strength. 31 goals for compared to only 23 goals against there. They're one of the best 5-on-5 teams, probably the best 5-on-5 team left in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But comparing that to the beast on the other side there with the Dallas Stars, the very exact same lineup that they are sticking with in game 2 there. And again, lots of players that were quiet for the first 2 rounds finally did something in game 1, much to the chagrin of Oiler Nation there. Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, Sam Steele got on the board, Jamie Benn, the veteran. Everyone was contributing on that power play there, and especially in the third period when everyone was locked in, not just, on the forward side for Dallas, but also on the back end there with Miro Heiskanen getting his first playoff goal there, and everybody, again, just contributing when the Oilers were in that lull during that 6-minute stretch in the third period. But on the bright side, I mean, Jake Ottinger did not look super strong in that game against the Oilers, only putting up an 889, but for the majority of the third period, although the Oilers did have a late push, he had a very easy night as the Edmonton Oilers sort of, dug their own grave in game one there. But that is it for today's video. Should be a very exciting one tonight. I mean, these Oilers are very exciting to play. Everyone's been doubting them, and they seem to play a lot better when everybody doubts them. I don't know if you see the same or not, but let me know down in the comments what your expectations are for game 2 tonight, folks. It's a Friday night in Dallas. It should be an awesome one. Let's go Oilers. Let's go back to Edmonton, tied at 1, and have a great weekend, folks. Take care. I'm Matt.